Good afternoon, everybody. This is Vicky and, of course, the wonderful Jennie Bolt, and we are here doing our weekly What If. This is week 4. Can you believe it's week 4 already?
Oh, it's gone so quickly.
It has. So, how are you this afternoon? Are you feeling good?
Brilliant, thank you.
Excellent.
Ready to roll. Bring it on.
Yes, I have to say that I think both of us have had a bit of a roller coaster week this last week, but I think everybody is kind of feeling that a little bit. So it's quite apt that today's topic we are talking about. Do you want to share what it is, Jennie?
Well, why not? What if you choose to receive the gift of you during this holiday season?
Absolutely. And for those listeners who are going, what does she mean? Receive the gift of you. What does that even mean? Do you want to kind of explain in simple terms just what we mean by receiving the gift of you?
Yeah. So often, and we have mentioned this in the previous what ifs, so often we're busy pleasing others. And we're being nice to others and caring, and this is the whole ethos at the moment. And there's no wrongness in that whatsoever. But we are very aware also that we are not also being the same to ourselves. So not doing to ourselves what we're actually offering others. And so this is really about just creating that awareness for you to perhaps step back and look, what is going to really work for me here? What is going to create the most ease for me and my body? And of course, when that happens, you're more relaxed and things fall into place a lot more.
And I think that's an important thing that you've hit on there, because it's not just about how you feel mentally, logically, it's about how is your body feeling. And if you are in a state where you can receive rather than always giving, you're going to feel more connected to who you are in a way that perhaps feels lighter and more comfortable, especially now at this time of year when everything feels quite dark and heavy and dull, doesn't it?
Yeah, no sunshine. However, we can create that ourselves.
Yeah. When we talk about the gift of you, when I think about the gift of me, and I'm sure other people can relate to this, sometimes it's difficult to know just who we are, especially at this time of year when we're trying to be all things to all people, to actually connect back to us. So how would you recommend that people start to connect to knowing what it is that they need to do for themselves?
I think it is that we've mentioned this before. I'm sure most of you've got the awareness that actually when you're really being busy, just take stock. And you can still do the barriers down exercise we suggested. When you're feeling that, just go, okay, barriers down, expand out. And as you're doing that, just ask the question, what can I be and do today to create more ease in my life right away? And what actions are required today? The word required. So we come and, oh, I've got this to do and that to do. What's your own self-talk? If we allow our self-talk to run away with us, we stick ourselves, we make everything significant, we feel more stressed out because we're so busy using our energy up on what we've got to do instead of actually, okay, what is required now? Is this required for now or later? Now or later? So you've got a list, you can just look at it and go, okay, which is for now, which is for later, which is for now, which is for later. And whichever one of them will just pop up at you. It's quite extraordinary. One will just stand out. Okay, cool, do that.
And this is what we mean by intuition, isn't it? And just going with what feels good, because we don't always, on a logical level, we might go through that list and we might try and prioritize things because we think we should do it and it should be in that order. But sometimes to just go through and ask those questions, is it for now? Is it for later? But also, is this serving me? Or is it trying to serve somebody else? And I think that that's something that, especially now at this time of year, when it is about giving and it is about being compassionate, we also have to let ourselves receive as well. And it's very easy, I think, for women particularly. I think it's not as prominent in men. That's not to say it doesn't happen. But I think it's more women that tend to want to give. And are not so great at receiving and tuning into what their wants and needs are. Do you think that's correct?
I do. I agree entirely with that because we are always wanting to please somebody else. and we're buying in, and other people, and be aware too, other people have their agendas, their own list of things to do. So, oh, you're doing that. Oh, well, and all these kind of responses, and they're kind of things, interesting things, and have fun with it. They're kind of being off balance. Okay, that's an interesting point of view. You don't have to necessarily say that to them, but you certainly can say that to yourself. Interesting point of view has this amazing way of just dissipating all that intensity that's being thrown at you.
Yeah, and we're not and this is where we're coming back to the language that we choose to use.
Absolutely.
As being so important, because it's an interesting point of view, not it's a right, it's a wrong, right? Or I don't agree with that, or it's a ridiculous or a stupid, right? All of those words are inviting the other person to feel defensive, to want to kind of poke you back. And all of a sudden you can start to feel a little bit icky, even if you didn't mean it in that way, if it's been taken in a slightly different way. And I think when we really look at the words that we use, and especially when you talked about that self-talk, and for a lot of people, when I say the word self-talk, just clarify, we mean thinking. That's what we really mean. When we talk about self-talk, it's your thoughts that you are listening to. And not everybody has this constant chatter. And sometimes it's just fleeting. But for other people, it's like a non-stop barrage going on. And we're all different. So please don't think that if you're not always thinking all of the time, there's something wrong with you. And conversely, if your head seems like it never shuts up, there's nothing wrong with you either. But it's listening to the words and deciding, isn't it, which ones are helpful to you.
Yes, and that's about perceiving the energy and what your body, and that again comes back to the point Vicky was making earlier regarding your body, because actually when we start noticing how our body is contracting and expanding at different times, it becomes very much easier for us to make that choice to do something, change and do something slightly different. Because the intensity of language and other people's language, the deliverance of how they say it. So you can go, no, I don't think so. And it's kind of really wishy-washy. Yeah. Or you can go, no, I don't mean that. And it's kind of, well, we can persuade them. And then you go, no. And the whole energy, it's not even about raising your voice. It's about deliverance of how you say it. In other words, you kind of say, if it's in the word no, it's something you don't want. No, you deliver it with this factor. I mean that. That's not what, that's exactly where I'm at. There's no bargaining on this. And that's the kind of deliverance of it. And so often we're busy doing that to ourselves and not actually listening. But one of the words that Vicky used again was receiving. And receiving is a gift to you. And it's about receiving everything and judging absolutely nothing. So what do I mean by that? That means that even what Vicky and I are saying at the moment is actually an interesting point of view. But it also means we don't have any opinion. We're not getting cross with each other about it, or we might like one thing, but we're not judging anything. It just is what it is, and we're kind of moving on. But we've embraced what each other are saying, or whoever you're speaking to as well. And you're not taking it and holding it in. So often it's, well, she does this, he does, whatever it may be. And we've automatically taken it, and Vicky mentioned this earlier, to our emotions, which are the thinking bits and the buzzing minds. Oh, if I say this, they'll say that. We're holding this mad conversation in our head that's probably never going to happen. And that is massively energizing. Whereas if we're used to just in everyday life, receiving everything, judging nothing, what do I mean like that? I think we mentioned calendars before, didn't we, Vicky? I think.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so imagine your body's like a calendar, if you like, and everything that we're saying and you're doing now, just going straight through you. You're listening to it, you're hearing the vibrations of it. You might like it, you may not, and that's your choice. But by allowing it to go through, you're not holding on to it and going, oh, I don't like that. Doesn't mean to say you can't suggest something different afterwards, but actually allow it to flow through you. Receive and flow.
Took the word right out of my mouth there. I was going to say, when we're talking about going with the flow, this means, doesn't it, that we are equally able to give and receive, but not just stay stuck in one or the other. And oftentimes I was having a conversation today with a client who very much likes to see things in black or white. And this is the way it should be because I feel comfortable and I feel certain about it. And there's an expectation there. But if we can choose to let go of those expectations and allow ourselves to be open to things feeling and being slightly different without the judgment, as you said, we're more likely to let the stuff flow that is not important and to just twig, as you said, when you're talking about the list and you're deciding what's important for now or for later and something will pop out. It's the same, isn't it? We'll hear and then suddenly we'll listen to a bit that's poignant to us, not knowing why, but because right in that moment, that's the thing we need to receive for us to feel at that moment better or more able to make a decision or whatever it happens to be.
Absolutely. So what are you, another question for you here. So what are you willing to totally mess up about the festivities?
Well,
when we make things significant, sorry, we're making things significant. It's got to be like this. It's got to be like that.
Yeah.
Truth, does that create as much ease as if you go, actually, do you know what? This is what I'd like to do. Let's see how it unfolds.
And I know which one feels so much lighter for me. But just you saying the word mess up I think, and we're coming back to words again now, when we hear that word mess or clutter, it brings with it interpretations and connotations of not being in control, of somehow being not a clever person, not a person who has got all their shit together. And actually, messy is every single person's life, because none of us know, do we, what's around the corner. We haven't got a crystal ball. We do not know what is going to happen. And we are in a position where things change and we're able to cope and to manage and to get on with them. And that's part of the messiness that we embrace. And what we're asking people to do is just let yourself be the vessel to receive the messiness and go with it, because it just might take you to somewhere that you couldn't even imagine before because you were so closed.
Absolutely. And how much out of mess and in fact chaos? So often we're looking for something, and if it's a messy place, if you keep things untidy on a desk, as I often do, I think, oh, I know where it is. But the minute I've tidied it up, I can never find it again. But it pops up amongst the mess because we haven't actually seen it. The other thing is chaos is another great word. It's chaos of possibilities. We have a certain amount of chaos, quite a significant amount of chaos, I would say, around us all at the moment. But what actually is being done by that? How resourceful have we become? How innovative? There are possibilities in the chaos. And if you're in that 10-second increments, okay, this isn't working. What if? Last year, we forgot, just a quick Christmas story. I hadn't realized the turkey, we bought a turkey and stuff, and it was supposed to be stuffed and it wasn't stuffed. And we were away on holiday, and so just happened to have a packet of stuffing. And one of the people in the house was watching, because she gets everything down to a fine art, 15 lists and all the rest of it. And I'm standing there going, okay, well, what if we just mix this up and we'll just push it here, there. And it was really interesting to see how her reaction was to mine.
Yeah.
We had a situation. What was I going to do? Have a complete wobbly? And I can't do, we haven't got this, your fault, but whatever it was, wasn't. So it was just interesting. So out of that chaos, something else came. And as a result, funnily enough, that chaos, because I was more relaxed, people around you became more relaxed because there wasn't that panic. So what if you're the gift to yourself, being that, choosing that ease, and what if actually what effect will that have on everyone else around you?
Awesome. And I think there's a perfect place to leave it, because we all want this time of year to have just a little bit of respite from the stress and the strain of everything that is happening. And I think we all deserve that day, don't we, where it's easy for everybody.
Yes.
Not just some, but for everyone. So I hope that, folks, if you are listening and you found this useful or helpful, you'd like to make some comments. If you've got any questions about just how you can allow yourself to be a little bit more open to receiving and to tuning into your wants and needs without it being selfish, then please do drop a comment below, or reach out to either Jennie or myself. Jennie, where can people find you?
At the moment, LinkedIn and Facebook.
Jennie Bolt, LinkedIn and Facebook, and you can find me, Vicky Midwood, on Facebook and as the Addiction and Disordered Eating Eliminator, as well as over on my website, that is vickymidwood.com. We'd love to hear from you, folks. If you have enjoyed what we've had to say, please give us some love hearts, give us some likes. If you think somebody may find it beneficial, please do share it with them as well. And until next week, Jennie, I wish you a fantastic weekend and rest of the week, and I will speak to you soon.
And the same to you. And what can we be and do today to create more ease and joy in our life right away?
Love it. And on that note, let's say goodbye. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.